Hello friends, followers and channel members, and welcome back to the channel. So Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024's latest preview trailer has been released. And not only that, we now have the official release date of the 19th of November later this year that we're going to be able to get our hands on it. That kind of blew my theory out of the water that I expected a August release whilst all the kids were on summer holidays, just as they did when they originally released Flight Simulator 2020. Its release then will see it arrive both on Xbox and the PC platform at the same time, something of course which didn't happen with Flight Simulator 2020. And it will also be available using Microsoft Game Pass. Now, we don't as yet have any further details with regard to the price if you're purchasing it outright, or how many different variations of the product there will be. You'll remember, of course, back when Flight Sim 2020 was released, there were 3 different versions you could choose from. We'll have to wait and see what Microsoft and Asobo decide with regards to this new simulator. Now, since the trailer was released, loads of you have been asking for my opinions on it, and so I thought I'd put together this video to basically give them to you. What I'm not going to do in this video though is just show you the trailer. I'm guessing all of you will have already seen that, but there are lots of things in this trailer which give me cause to be very excited for the future, and that's what I want to share with you in this video. Lots of little details which you may have missed if you've just seen the trailer a couple of times, and I want to get your thoughts as well on each of these little things as we go along. So please don't forget to leave a comment down in the video description below with regards to anything you see in this video and how excited you are for Flight Sim 2024. So my first wow moment of the trailer was near the opening of it, and it's when we've got this shot here. Not particularly the aircraft or the location, but just the look of the mist, the way it's obviously covering the ground, and you've got the sunlight that is reflecting off of that, and also casting shadows with the big rock faces. The reason this jumped out to me a little bit was because one of the huge things that people are going to be looking for when this new simulator gets released is how on earth are they going to actually improve the graphics. Let's face it, I don't think Microsoft Flight Simulator as it stands does a bad job at all, so I think it's going to be really impressive if they can actually improve upon that as well. Next up then was this wonderful shot of JFK Airport in New York. One of the obvious things then was the fact that we had got United Airlines, a real-world livery there from the off. This was something that the original Microsoft Flight Sim was lacking, so the fact that we've got this livery, and there's also a KLM livery being shown in the trailer as well, might mean that they've secured some licenses with airlines to include these from the off. The airport itself, of course, looks nicely detailed. You can see a little British Airways sign as well there too, so it's going to be interesting to see how the default handcrafted airports have improved in this latest edition. Now, those of you who watch this channel know that commercial aviation is where my passion is, so the fact that it seems that they are throwing lots of sort of different missions and game modes into this is really nice, and commercial flight, it appears, is one of them. The thing that got my eye here is of course the fact that we do have pilots walking out to the aircraft, but also we've got covers on the engines and also on the pitot tubes. Does this mean that we get to walk around the aircraft and actually do an external inspection like in the real world pilot does before every flight, or is this just a cinematic for a mission that's included with the simulator? Time will tell, but can you imagine if before every flight, if you're going to do it realistically, you get to walk around the aircraft and actually check for defects and things like that? That would be really great. Love to hear what you guys would think about that in the comments down below. Now, one of the things that I know many of you dislike is the fact that in order to get your simulator as realistic as we can at the moment, chances are you're using lots of different mods and add-ons in order to help you. One such add-on, of course, is GSX, providing pushback and animated passengers. With their recent update as well, we've now got passengers in the cabin if you fly the Phoenix A320. Well, could it be that the need for GSX is a thing of the past? As you can see in the screenshot and the trailer itself, passengers are walking down the jetway to board the aircraft. Again, if this is for every single flight and not just a specific mission, that is a huge bonus, because as good as GSX is, I have to admit, and I've said this before on the channel, the actual software itself really bugs me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and its installer and Qualtel software, or however you pronounce it, that it uses, I'm not a massive fan of it. I just find it rather clunky. If we can do away with something like GSX and have realistic passengers by default in this simulator, well, I'll buy it just on that premise. Would love again to hear what you guys think about that. Speaking of missions then, this was something that was teased in the very first trailer some months ago. Things like air ambulance, land and sea rescue, crop dusting, all of these are missions which are going to be included in the simulator, and I know many of you like the fact that there are going to be specific tasks and missions involved. Personally for me, it's not something I require to get my fulfillment from a flight simulator, but they seem to be going all out on these missions, and of course with this basis being there from the start, it probably means that you're going to be able to purchase more add-on missions as we go on down the line. And again, just continuing with the mission theme, this made me smile a little bit. The fact that you can do aerial advertising. I don't know if this is true or not, but how cool would it be if whatever banner it is you are pulling, because I'm guessing you can probably create and type in the text for the banner that you want to pull. Imagine if you're pulling a banner along, but in multiplayer mode, everybody will be able to see that. Sounds like a good idea, but could also be abused as well. So probably we'll wait to see just what happens with that. Okay, so sticking with my theme of not liking to have to run loads of add-ons in order to get the simulator looking and performing as I want it to, as close to real life as possible, one of the huge things that were missing from Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 were, of course, seasons. Now, Rex AccuSeasons does an amazing job, and I never fly at the moment without that. But from this screenshot here, we can see all the different colours of the foliage, which means that seasons are going to be in this simulator from the base game. That means, of course, no longer will we need something like Rex AccuSeasons to help us with that. Also in the trailer, you may have seen lots of different kinds of trees as well, which is something else that's going to be nice, because it's just another string to the bow of things that we no longer need to run in the background and add on to the simulator to have it looking as good as possible. Now, I've already confessed the fact, of course, that commercial aviation is where my personal passion lies, and it seems that in Flight Simulator 2024 we are going to be getting an Airbus 330 as a default aircraft. Now, just having a quick look at the glare shield here, you can see the FCU. What I really liked about this image is just have a look at the EFIS panel and mode selectors. You can see where there is some shiny grease around those dials, where as pilots use these every day, lots of times per flight, twisting those dials. The grease has obviously rubbed off, the shine on the FCU paint has rubbed off, and it's just lifelike, which is great because that is an awesome detail. Of course, that is artwork. How well the aircraft actually performs and how detailed it is will remain to be seen, but at least the artwork in this picture is looking great. Now, it is an Airbus A330, and we know from the past releases and information that we have been getting that the Aerosoft A330 was something that was bound to be released for Flight Simulator 2020. That never happened, and of course they then announced that they were going to release it for Flight Simulator 2024. So what are the possibilities of the Airbus A330 that is going to be released in Flight Simulator 2024 being the Aerosoft A330? Well, I personally don't think that will be the case, and here's why. Here is another picture inside the aircraft. Now have a look at that tablet. Do you notice anything familiar about it? It looks almost identical to the Inibuild's A320 Neo aircraft that has just been released, as well as the current Airbus A300 and Airbus A310 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So just reading between the lines, I'm guessing that the new Airbus aircraft that are going to be available by default in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 are most likely going to be Inibuild creations. Of course, don't quote me on this, I'm just seeing exactly the same images and videos that you guys have seen. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Something else that was missing from Flight Simulator 2020, and now another add-on that is probably no longer needed. Of course, that is the Aurora Borealis, the beautiful northern lights in the simulator by default. One thing I would like to see are things like satellites and shooting stars. They may be in Flight Simulator 2024, time will tell, but it certainly seems like a step in the right direction, and again, one less add-on that is required. Helicopters will be included from the off by default, which is nice to see given that they've only recently been introduced to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and also it seems hot air balloons. I love this image of Paris once again, just with the mist on the horizon and down low to the ground, something which I just think looks like a really neat, stunning image. Finally then, before we go, another look at something graphics focused. Now, if you've seen the trailer, you no doubt had a slight chuckle when you saw the camera looking at the wild animals and taking photographs of them. Not much to do with a flight simulator, but there you go. But just look at this image on screen here. Look at the wheels. They are absolutely caked in mud, clearly having just done a grass landing, which is wonderful. But I am now left wondering, does this mean that they were clean before when departing on a tarmacked runway? And once you take off, does that mud fall off? Also, look behind the aircraft, look at the flowers, not just the grass, but for the first time we've got flowers and seeds and also a little bit of moss growing on that rock in the bottom corner. Is this just something for the video trailer, and is this just mission based, or are these the kind of graphics that we are actually going to get when you're headed into the outback and jungle areas of the world in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024? Just this image alone leaves so many questions, but hopefully good ones with great answers. Unfortunately, we're probably going to have to wait until the simulator is released to be able to find out. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear what your comments are following the release of the trailer. Will you be getting it? That is my first question to you. Is there enough in these teaser trailers to make you think, yep, absolutely, I'm going to pull the plug as soon as it's released and it's a day one purchase? I have to be honest, for me, it probably is. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, then please do leave a like. And of course, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, and of course our live stream flights. Thanks so much. I'll see you all again in the next one. Bye bye for now.